In our attempt to take over the world with crochet, here's how I crochet. I use a pencil hold, but it's a little bit modified, I think, from some people in that I have this middle finger on the top of the hook to reinforce my control with the top. I'm going to show you a little bit about where I keep my hands because that helps some too. I hold the fabric between my pinky and my ring finger on my right hand, and that just gives me a smooth place to guide it through. I hold the hook with these fingers just like this, so I'm going to be able to poke right into the fabric. And with my left hand, my fingers are in pairs. If I remove the yarn, my pinky and my ring finger are holding the back of the fabric. Really, the ring finger is, and that pinky is just reinforcing it. My index finger is also reinforcing, my middle finger is reinforcing my index finger, and they're going to hold the yarn. So I'm holding the fabric between my ring finger and my thumb, and my little finger, can't really see him right in there, is just right up against my ring finger to reinforce that. So I don't like to have a lot of tension on my yarn because I crochet pretty tightly as it is. So I just loop it through these fingers like this. And I'll use this to either tighten my tension or let it go. But for the most part, I just let it move through that loop on its own and leave it hang across my other fingers. So for me, I tend to ride pretty close right along this strip. I'm just going to do single crochets so that you can see. So there's actually very little movement in anything other than my fingers. And loop over. It's actually a little bit awkward for me because I'm crocheting on the table, which I don't normally do, but you can kind of see how this works. And this way, it works well for me because I have a bum finger here that doesn't like to move. So you'll see that I don't move this one very much other than to move it up and back. And I depend on this pencil hold to do all the work for me in the hook. And I also tend to hold my hook facing down a little bit because I find it catches less for me that way. And so here we go, moving right along. Now, some people will use the knife hold, and they're very successful at it. I am not, but I'm going to try to show it to you here just so you can see what it looks like but for comparison. So this pencil hold, you see the hook completely in front of you, and it's between your eyes and your hand. If you're doing a knife hold, your hand is actually in between your eyes and the hook. And the stitches work the same way, but you have to hold things a little differently. And as I said, I'm awkward about it. Somebody who's more used to it can go a lot faster. If you're dealing with really tight stitches or really thick fabric, this can be really useful because you're pulling. Most of what you're doing here is pulling, and that's why this hold works for some people. But for me, I would rather, I can move faster if I hold the hook in a pencil hold and poke into the fabric this way instead of the pulling. So I hope that answers everybody's questions.